Welcome, everyone, to Fantasy Foresight, the podcast. We're your hosts and co-founders of FantasyForesight.com. I'm Ben.
And I'm Jay.
You ready to get rolling, Jay?
You know it. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. Let's take a look at the running backs in the AFC West as of Saturday, August 11th.
First up, we have my boy Royce Freeman. This is one rookie I am very excited about.
Absolutely.
With some of the other news coming down about the other rookies and their health, Royce seems to be moving up the experts' ranks as far as rookie running backs are concerned. He was a 4-year starter in Oregon. He's one of only 4 players in FBS history to reach 5,000 rushing yards and 800 yards receiving in their career. I feel really good about this guy. We just talked previously about the offensive line that he has. He's consistent, durable. He's Oregon's all-time leader in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, 100-yard games, and carries. His 5,621 career rushing yards ranks second in Pac-12 and 6th in FBS history.
Woo!
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, this is one of those sleeper-type rookies out there that I think could have a similar burst onto the scene like Kareem Hunt did last year.
I am worried about hyping him too much because I know members of our league are going to be listening to this, and our draft is in a couple weeks at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is a guy I have my eyes on, and now I'm worried someone's going to snipe him from me.
Well, I mean, you had to make sure you emphasize that point by bringing that all up. We hype a lot of guys on this podcast, and it just would have went right along unnoticed until you took the big old red circle around his name there. So that one's on you.
That is. I'll have to overpay for him, but it's fine. I'm willing to do that.
So we've got Total Foresight ranking him at RB32. Mike Clay a little bit higher at RB17. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think he's probably a little bit low in Total Foresight, but that's strictly a rookie rank. We don't have a lot of metrics to go on in Total Foresight for rookies, so what we're taking on that is his aggregate projection, and we're combining that with his strength of schedule. Now, he's got a pretty decent strength of schedule. It's 10th in the league.
Right.
And his projections, I think a lot of the services aren't sure what to make of him yet. He has Devontae Booker behind him. People aren't sure how that situation's going to sort out. They think they're going to split carries, so I can understand that his projections maybe aren't as high, but I view him maybe a little bit higher than that. I think he's going to be a steal. Right now, he's going
50 to 55 in PPR drafts over the last month.
Right. So right in front of him, you have
Ronald Jones in Tampa Bay, Mark Ingram, and Lamar Miller. Let's see. Out of those 4, which one are you taking?
I'm Royce all the way in that group.
I'm taking Royce out of that foursome all day.
Yeah, I've been hearing news that Rojo's role is uncertain and reviews haven't come back. He's another rookie that I've had my eye on. You know, Ingram's obviously suspended to start the season. Lamar Miller, right.
It's crazy to say, but of those 3 guys, Rojo, Ingram, and Lamar Miller, I would be most okay with you taking Mr. Suspended guy because he was so productive last year as PPR RB5.
That's definitely true. That's the debate I was having was, do you take Ingram with his suspension or do you take Royce Freeman?
You got to go with Royce. I mean, I know that there's Devontae Booker waiting in the wings, but think about this with Royce Freeman. I think Devontae Booker, and we'll get to him in a second, he's had his shot to win the job. This is his 3rd season. He has done nothing to prove that he is the guy, which is why Denver went and drafted Royce where they drafted him in the 3rd round. In his college career, he was a 4-year durable starter. In that 4 years, he averaged 106 total yards per game off of 42 total opportunities, again, speaking to his durability, and had 1.2 touchdowns per game. This guy is the total package. He's not the best pass catcher in the world, but he can catch the ball. He's got a great inside feel. He's consistent. You can count on him. And like I said, I really like this guy. I don't think that he's going to be there where I want to draft him in our league because there's so many people that are in on him. If I was in a normal league, I would certainly be taking him above 50 to 55 where he's going right now.
Right. And there is some risk to him. Like you said, Devontae Booker, while he's had his shot, he's still penciled in as the week 1 starter. That may or may not change. But Devontae's going much later. He's going in the 125, 130 range around the likes of Giovanni Bernard, Corey Clement.
And that's your boy too.
That is my boy. Devontae's ranked as our RB48, which really at that point, you're an RB4. That's a free agent.
Here's the thing, though. I'll be honest with you. He's going around 125 to 130. I really like Royce Freeman. I'm not going to criticize anyone who wants to take Booker around 125 to 130 because he is penciled in as the week 1 starter. We don't know what Royce Freeman's going to be on the pro level, and there is a chance that you are getting a high volume guy that late in your draft, which is an insane value. I happen to not believe in the player. I happen to love Royce Freeman. But again, if you happen to disagree with me and you choose to go the Devontae Booker route for much cheaper, I'm not going to have any problems with that.
No, there is some value there. The third back on their roster is Phillip Lindsay. I don't think he's going to be seeing the field. So it's a two-back backfield. So those guys are going to get carries. And we've seen injuries already in the preseason. And if something happens to Royce, then Devontae, he's going to have the lion's share of the workload. And then he becomes an instant fantasy-relevant back. So there is some value there in taking him in that 125, 130
And whoever wins this job is going to have a top 10 strength of schedule at the running back position. They've got a middle-of-the-road offensive line. Vegas likes them to win around 8 games. So, I mean, it's not like they're going to be some terrible team that never runs the ball. In his career, Devontae Booker, 36 total yards per game on average off of 9 total opportunities. In 13 games, he's got 1 touchdown. I just really don't see it from him. I picked him up in free agency last year. He just didn't pan out. So I really am excited about Royce, and I will be shocked if in the preseason Royce doesn't play better, including against their game against Minnesota tonight.
Now, another team with an interesting backfield situation is Kansas City. You have the reigning rookie sensation, led the NFL in rushing, Kareem Hunt. But then you have the incumbent whose job he took, Spencer Ware, coming back. He is coming off PCL and LCL tears, didn't play in the preseason opener, but says he's ready to go and ready to compete for playing time. What's going to happen in this situation?
I was always a Spencer Ware fan. Going into last year, we knew that Kareem Hunt was probably going to be the guy based on where they drafted him. And then lo and behold, Spencer Ware goes down. Kareem Hunt comes in. He steals the show. It's going to be an uphill battle for Spencer Ware to really eat into any of Kareem Hunt's workload, because why would you want to mess with that success?
He was fantastic. And anybody who leads the NFL in rushing, you're going to have a hard time bringing that guy off the field. The fans would storm the gates and demand
Not to mention, you don't know how healthy this guy is. He had PCL and LCL tears. I mean, that's nothing minor. So let's not forget about Kareem Hunt here. He's our total Foresight running back 4. He's Mike Clay's running back 7. That's a locked and loaded running back 1. He's going around 11 to 13 in average draft position in PPR formats over the past month. People going higher than him are Leonard Fournette. No, I'll take Kareem Hunt. Melvin Gordon. You can debate that either way. Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry. I feel the most comfortable out of all 3 of those guys in Kareem Hunt.
Last year, he was a stud. He averaged 111 yards per game.
Off of 21 total opportunities a game. So that's over 5 yards a carry. It's not like his TDs are some insane number where he's a TD-dependent guy. He had 0.7 touchdowns per game. So he's a very efficient back. His biggest problem, I think the man needs more touches. 21 total touches a game for Kareem Hunt at this stage in his young career. Give the man the ball more.
And some people out there may argue with Spencer Ware coming back, he could cut into Kareem Hunt's touches a little bit. But me, listen, I'm a little bit of the paranoid type where I want my running back to have touches, but I don't want him to have too much because I don't want him to get hurt. That wear and tear, I just fear it's happened to me too many times, where you give a back so many touches that it ends up costing him the season. You have concussions so prevalent nowadays that if he can maintain 21 touches a game and have that many opportunities, he was explosive last season. I don't care if Spencer Ware maybe takes a couple back. As long as he's in that range, he's going to put up points. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run. Their offensive line is ranked middle of the road this season, so that worries me a little bit. Vegas expects a little bit of a regression from the team, winning around 8 games. That worries me a little bit. But as far as the player himself and his production, he is going to be an RB1 this year. And I don't think there's any
Absolutely.
doubt about that.
And I hear what you're saying about the carries and the durability and all that. I just think there's an opportunity to maximize his value even further because his performance in fantasy seemed to trail off a little bit at the end of the year, and compared to his super explosive start, and he was still running back 4. I think he's the type where Andy Reid needs to find a way to get him up to more of the 25 touch a game range. And I think that's going to correlate to better success for the whole team.
Well, and the rest of the guys on that roster in the backfield, Spencer Ware we've touched on, we need to see what he's going to be when he comes back from injury. Charkandrick West was concussed in late July. He may not even make the roster. Damian Williams is okay, but I'm not sure he's fantasy relevant at this point. And Kerwin Williams left the preseason opener with a head injury. He's also shaky to make the roster, so I don't think there's anybody else on this roster worth discussing.
Absolutely. I think the reason they brought those other guys in is because they don't know about Spencer Ware. They don't know what they have in Spencer Ware, and they have those guys there for depth in case anything happens to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's the guy. Kareem Hunt is a locked and loaded top 5 running back this year. I would really like to have him on any of my fantasy teams.
Now, another guy who's the guy on his team and a locked and loaded RB1 is Melvin Gordon.
Absolutely. Coaching staff has been on record saying they regret not involving Melvin more in the passing game last season and plan on rectifying that this season. This guy had a monster year last year. He's total Foresight's running back 5. He's Mike Clay's running back 10. If they plan on getting him more involved in the passing game, top 3 running back is not out of the realm of possibility for his range of outcomes.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I love our ranking of him right behind Kareem Hunt, who we just talked about. We just said Kareem Hunt averaged 21 total opportunities a game. Melvin Gordon averaged 1 less.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt averaged 111 yards per game. Melvin Gordon averaged 89.
Yes.
Slightly less.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt averaged 0.69 touchdowns per game. Melvin Gordon averaged 0.56. Still excellent numbers.
Yep.
He's going to get the ball a ton. He's going to be heavily involved, but his numbers are just a little bit less than Kareem Hunt.
Right.
Now, he's got the 8th easiest schedule for running backs.
Yes.
With the 21st ranked offensive line. It's a little bit of a strange mix there where it's an advantageous schedule. Your offensive line's not the best, but they do pass the ball out of the backfield to him, which should get him into space, and he's going to put up points. Like we said, he's an RB1 all day long. Now, my major concern, which always has been the case with Melvin, is he going to give me 16 games this season?
And that's totally understandable. I will also say that defenses are not going to be able to stack the box against this team and Phillip Rivers and that arsenal of receivers that they have. I think Melvin Gordon went a long way to proving his durability last year. He definitely improved upon that. I think last year was his breakout year. He's going 8-10 right now. And like you said, I definitely like Kareem Hunt, who's currently going a little bit lower than him in ADPs currently, as well as Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook. 3 people going higher, Saquon, Kamara, and David Johnson. So the 3 going higher, 2 of the 3 I would take over Melvin Gordon for sure. Saquon Barkley, no, I'm going to take Melvin Gordon over Saquon.
Very interesting to me, though, the 3 guys going behind him. You take that group of 4, Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, and Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
3 of those guys have an injury history.
Yes, they do. One that doesn't is Kareem Hunt, and that's why we like him. I will say that Melvin Gordon is number 2 for me in that group, followed by Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook.
Agreed. And the other guys on the Chargers backfield are question marks. They're both battling to make the roster from what I've read. So I don't even think they're fantasy relevant at all unless something happens to Melvin and he goes down with injury.
Exactly.
But Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, I read some great things about, is it Eckler? I always want to say Eckler.
The fact that you have to ask that question means that we're talking about him too much.
Moving on.
Yep.
We talk about the backups in Los Angeles not being fantasy relevant, and I have a hard time finding somebody who's fantasy relevant on our next team, the Oakland Raiders. You have a group of running backs, Marshawn Lynch, Doug Martin, Jalen Richard, and DeAndre Washington. You're looking at me like,
wow.
What? Not fantasy relevant?
Wow.
I'm sorry. Marshawn Lynch is Total Foresight's RB47. Doug Martin, RB88. The other 2 guys, not even ranked. Are you really trusting Marshawn in a significant role on your fantasy team this year?
I'll tell you what, Marshawn's cheaper than he's ever been. Marshawn's going 73 to 78 in drafts. Hang on a second.
And why is that?
Hang on a second. Because Marshawn is Marshawn. He's a little bit of a head case. He's in and out of football. He's a durable guy. Okay, he was not inefficient last year. Over the past 3 seasons, he averages 18 total opportunities per game, in which he nets 84 total yards per game and 0.71 touchdowns per game. He's got the 5th best offensive line in the league. He's got a top 10 running back schedule. And like I said, he's going 73 to 78. He's Mike Clay's running back 25. He's total Foresight's running back 47. Again, I get that the sample size is a little skewed because he didn't play a couple years ago and all that. But here's guys that are going above him, Jay. Marlon Mack, Tariq Cohen, and Kerryon Johnson. Tell you what, love Kerryon, love what we saw out of him so far. Kerryon's the only one in that group that I'm taking over Marshawn at that point.
Okay, I agree with you. His strength of schedule is attractive. His offensive line appears to be fantastic, one of the top in the league. Kerryon, I'm with you, looks dynamic, and he's the one in that group that I would take over Marshawn at that price point. If Mack hadn't hurt his hamstring, he's another guy that I would probably take, but now holding on an injury, I'm with you. Kerryon's probably the only guy in that group I'm taking.
Right.
But I think what we've seen in fantasy this year is a premium on running backs. They are going early because of that. So if you're still taking a running back in that range, I think I'm taking a dynamic rookie over an aging veteran like Marshawn Lynch.
Well, and we agree on that. But again, I just don't think his price is that egregious for somebody that is tried and true and proven in football. And he could definitely be the guy. And I could definitely see him getting double-digit touchdowns and flirting with 1,000 yards. None of that is outside the realm of his ability or his range of outcomes.
No, but their backfield is filled with veterans. Doug Martin is another one. I'm not sure I'm investing anything in him. He's going later. I'm sorry, I just don't expect anything big out of the Oakland backfield this year. I'm just not seeing it.
Well, it's okay to not target them, but I really think that both of them are appropriately valued. Some people do have some questions about Marshawn Lynch. So, Doug Martin has proven to be a capable back. In his career, he averaged 4.5 yards per touch off of 19 total opportunities a game for 76 total yards per game and less than half a touchdown per game. So, I mean, he's had a turbulent up and down usage career and all that, but on a per game basis, he's absolutely fine. And he's going 125 to 130 in drafts. He's also got that great offensive line and the favorable strength of schedule. And I just think that one of these two guys is going to emerge as a solid RB2, and you need an RB2 to win a championship. Even if this isn't where you want to go, there are much worse options in this backfield. I gotta respectfully disagree with you, brother.
I think we are just going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
Wouldn't be the first time, will not be the last time.
Not going to be the last. And one guy I do want to touch on real quick before we end this segment is Jalen Richard. He was a guy who Total Foresight liked last year because he did a lot with limited snaps and limited opportunities. But he did get more opportunities later in the season, and he just didn't do anything with them. And now he's nursing a left calf strain. So, again, nobody else on this roster is going to be fantasy relevant in my eyes. And the top two guys, there's a little bit of a debate clearly between us, and we're just going to have to wait and see how it shakes out.
Absolutely. You're going to be wrong on this one, buddy.
And that wraps up this episode of Fantasy Foresight, the podcast. Don't forget, you can find us at fantasyforesight.com.
And you can use the links at the bottom of the page to find us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at ForesightBen, at ForesightJ, and at Total Foresight. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
You already found this podcast, but you can find it on Google Play and iTunes, and you can find our app in the App Store.
All right, that does it for us. We'll see everybody next time. Thanks a lot, and have a great night.